Marketers don't respect marketing enough to actually get any training in the thing they do.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Do More with Less. We talk to the world's top marketing leaders and thinkers to understand and share how individuals and teams are best responding to that very blunt instruction to do more with less. Today I'm joined by Mark Ritson, one of the world's most vocal and renowned professors within our tribe. Unlike others that have made careers there out of educating others only, Mark isn't exclusively an academic. He spent decades in the boardrooms of some of the world's most famous brands, advising and supporting CEOs on marketing strategy. And now, of course, he's best known for the entrepreneurial idea that became a marketing monster, the mini MBA that fields thousands of top marketers every year seeking to upgrade their skill set and knowledge. Welcome, mate. How are you?
Good, Mark. How are you? Good to see you. It's been a year or so since we spoke, right?
It's been a bit, yeah. I think the kids say it's been a minute. But yeah, all good. Listen, you shared some recent research on LinkedIn, and albeit by your own admission, it was kind of somewhat homemade, but it was based with really, really good, a proper sample and with some sorts of methodology. It showed the gaps in true marketing knowledge and practice among our discipline. And yet you're still getting responses from marketers that dismiss the need for marketing training. What is it about our profession that makes us feel so immune to formal learning?
It's a couple of things. There's a fair proportion of dickheads, as you know, but there's something kind of more endemic, which is, roughly speaking, when you look at the data, about a third of marketers are formally trained, beyond, YouTube and self-training and the odd internal course. However we want to define that. But basically about a third, maybe 40% of, let's take the UK as a typical place. So what that means is, first of all, we're useless, obviously. I mean, we keep asking the boardroom to respect marketing. Marketers don't respect marketing enough to actually get any training in the thing they do. But it also means that there's an awful lot of senior and active social influencers in marketing, two-thirds of them that lack training themselves. So they have to rationalize the fact that they're an advisor or a consultant or an expert or a senior marketer without any formal training. And the way they do that, ridiculously, is to make arguments against training. And you can spot them because what they do is they'll go after me or the test that I created, or the fact that there are marketers that were never trained who are exceptional, which there are, and there are marketers that have had very formal training who are useless, which they are. But they're both called outliers, and it's total horseshit, because obviously there'll be outliers in anything, but there's a big fat fucking red line correlation between what do you know? Training in marketing and knowing more about marketing and being more capable in marketing. And there was a great comment last week from a marketer that had done, that had been reading this debate. People said, there's a debate about whether training, makes you better at marketing. And I'm like, it's not a debate. That's not what it is. And one of the guys had gone on LinkedIn and gone, what do you know? The marketing courses on my MBA really helped me when I did marketing. Go figure. And that's exactly right. You know what I mean? Like this ridiculous, pathetic, really rather soul-destroying conversation, has been bombasted. And yeah, I have a dog in the hunt. I'm clearly biased because I offer training services along with lots of other people. But it doesn't stop the simple fact from being true that a training in marketing makes you better at marketing. The end, right?
And yes, you launched the mini MBA and it's gone through a couple of iterations. But I've taken a team through the mini MBA. When I got to one of my jobs, I saw that the two young women who were left after the marketing team had been decimated In B2B environments, that's not rare. And they were super gifted and smarter than I'll ever be, but really, really made to feel like the most junior members of the squad and were kind of put upon, not respected. And both of them had ambition. They were very, very good on the first meeting I had with them at telling me, this is where I am, this is what I want, this is what I want to be. So I said to the boss, let me put them through this mini MBA. I'll do it with them as well. I've never done it, right? But, you know, and I said to them, KFC marketers are doing it, and, you know, luxury brand marketers do it. This is not nonsense. But he said, what's it going to get me? I said, what it'll get you is every single time those two women sit in a meeting and some bright spark from another function tells them what to do, they'll have the confidence.
Yes.
As well as their instincts. I just don't think that's right. I think they'll have the confidence and the backing to put themselves about and make themselves more senior. By the way, one went on to be head of brand and now works in a chief brand officer role for a mobile phone company. One is
we shall track her down. We shall track her down and sell to her.
She's still very, very special, very dear to me, and an incredible marketer.
No, but you raise a good point, Mark. I mean, there's two things go on with mini MBA. So one is just instrumentally we give marketers more knowledge, right? All the way up to 20% of them are C-level, VP level, right? But we're always able to top them up and filling gaps. But your point's true as well. Some of it is just giving them the confidence to say, right, this is everything you'd have got on a top MBA training in marketing. You've done it. You've understood it. There's nothing else out there. It's the complete thing.
Hello, sorry to interrupt. Do More with Less is a podcast and a webinar and a set of events that's made possible entirely by marketing resource group Orbital X. If you would like to know how we credibly claim many millions of pounds worth of pipeline influenced by our marketing resource group support and up to 60% of your closed won deals, give us a call, half an hour with one of us, really happy to talk to you and explain how that works and how it might look for your business. Thank you for allowing this interruption. Back to the podcast.
The core, if some idiot turns up in a meeting talking about, you know, blingity blongity acronym, you've now got the confidence to go either, what the hell does that mean? Or I know what that means. You mean positioning. Okay, well, here's the thing about positioning, right? And yeah, it's the great joy of my life, other than the very large amount of money it's generated, of course, is the back end of this discussion we started out with is you get marketers who go on the course, often paid for by their company, and they're not that keen to begin with, and they come out the back end and they go, oh, fuck. I mean, the number one bit of feedback we get is, I wish I'd done this 20 years ago, right? And they're like, what? It's amazing now. What? And I'm like, yeah, it's amazing how once you've been trained in the thing that you do, you're so much better at it. And they go, yeah, it's incredible, right? So it's a lovely thing to sell. You know, we're not selling, you know, donuts. You know what I mean? It's
right.
But transformational thing
to me is that you get that response from B2C marketers, because here in B2B land, I don't think we idol worship or hero worship. And I think there's many of us who may not have started this way, but made a career out of B2B marketing because it's a bloody brilliant place to be and the growth is enormous. And by the way, to one of your, to a point you generally make in some of your writings, because loads of B2B marketers aren't that great. Those of us who take it seriously can actually double whammy up later.
I think the bar is a little lower, and also we lack the P&G, Apple exemplars, you know. All right, there's Salesforce, you know, and, you know, there's a couple of others, but it ain't, you know, it ain't P&G.
Right, there's no P&G Unilever type training. And what I found when we did the mini MBA, and just as an aside for anyone who's listening and wondering about the link between Mark's mini MBA or just good training and doing more with less, I can tell you right now that if you've got the time and the money, or the money from the boss, training is the ultimate do more with less strategy. I'll tell you what I found. I found Mark's course making me literate and confident in areas that we genuinely don't touch in B2B marketing, right? We don't go near customer orientation. We don't go, or market orientation. We don't go near until now, actually, where at Orbital X, we take this incredibly seriously, which is one of the reasons why I'm so happy here. You know, proper segmenting, targeting, and positioning. Like, so I know you've said the same for B2C, and we sort of half don't believe it. With these guys, the Pete Markeys of this world must be grounded and qualified in all this stuff. But frankly, in B2B, what you teach makes us heroes and superstars. And so I've said to all of my bosses since I took your course, I'll do it again. If you can put the whole marketing team, I will go and take a refresher. Because frankly, we did it as a free. I can tell my listeners right now that in a world that we're dealing with, where many of your teams have been stripped back beyond any kind of suitable resource, some of you are CMOs with partners and vendors because you genuinely don't have a team. And that's normal. That's common now with a boardroom that's saying AI is going to do most of it. So there is no better do more with less strategy than good training. I'm not even advertising Mark because, I've got a training course on b2bmarketing.com and there are others out there, but I'm telling them, get qualified is the thing.
Well, and especially when we do have a discipline that is dominated by people that have never been trained in what they do. You could make the argument for refreshing, an industry like, I don't know, fucking real estate or consulting, where most of the people are trained. But in marketing, where 2/3 of them have never had the joy of joining the dots, it is for $2,000 or whatever you're charging for your course. It's a ridiculously huge win for the rest of your career, So training makes you better. And the thing you drive in the debate about it, demonstrates the nonsensical nature of marketing. Yeah.
Do you even understand? I fell into B2B marketing, as you know. I was in journalism. I was your editor, right? I didn't qualify a trade, and being marketing week editor, and then going to an advertising agency for 2 or 3 years as a qualification for doing what we do and making money for our companies is a joke. So for a long time, I was one of those that you would often cite. I was one of them. I kept my mouth shut when you spoke up because I was like, he's talking about me. I haven't trained. So what do you say to that? Do you understand any of the other argument that seems to come at you, which is you can train on the job. Training isn't like real life. We're dealing with people, and I'm really, really good with people, or really good with technology and tools, or I've been promoted 5 times just because you can learn this. I don't buy into here are 5 books that equal an MBA. The photographs you got, like read these 5 books and you basically saved yourself 10 grand. But do you have any truck with those that sort of say, honestly, marketing is ever changing and it's
no, it's not. It's all complete rationalized bullshit. Here's the point. Even if you're a wonderful, complete self-trained marketer, I know that if you did the mini MBA marketing, you would be even better, because 96% of the people that do the mini MBA said it immediately made them better, right? So it's bullshit. It's what marketers say to themselves in the mirror in the morning to justify why their badge says they're a marketer, but they've got no training in marketing. You've got to tell yourself something, right? People are able to rationalize anything. So all of those things you've listed there are just excuses. The other proof point is anyone that's got training in marketing doesn't say any of those things. They say, it's good to have training in marketing. It comes exclusively from people that find themselves in a tricky place, which is, I'm an expert, I'm a consultant, I'm a key influencer, I'm a CMO, but I actually never went to business school. I never did a proper training in marketing. I don't actually know what these things are completely, right? And deep down, they know that. So no, it's all bullshit. It's all absolute bullshit. My argument, and the argument of anyone that gets it, is completely and utterly, undefeatable. Yeah. Training in anything, assuming it's a proper training, makes you better at it. The end, including marketing. We're the only discipline that has this debate. Accountants are arguing whether you need a training in accounting, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? So, it's time to stop. I mean, I've lost my temper a little bit on this one because I knew it was coming, but in the past I've let those arguments, slide, and I thought, look, whatever. But now on LinkedIn, when I've published the research, and it's not perfect research, but it comes from Ipsos, it's a representative sample of marketers. It was done independently, right?
Yeah.
I've published the research. And when when people then comment, I'm like, no, because they don't go after it directly. Most of them, they go, oh, but the real problem of marketing isn't training, it's specialization. I'm like, no, that's not it. I don't care what you're trying to tell yourself, my friend. Specialization doesn't help, but here's the big problem. 2/3 of marketers, no training in marketing. That's the fucking problem. Don't try and move it somewhere else, because it's time to stop doing that bullshit.
You feel like if this was seen as a necessary, whether it's beneficial for you or not, and I know it has been, because it's, even before you sold to Bison, this was, I remember must be like 10 years ago or something. I can't remember how old it is. 2007 or something?
It's 10 years. It's exactly 10 years, Mike.
10 years. I remember the moment where I started seeing different level of people taking the mini MBA. And has AI changed everything or anything? Like in a world where, even marketers are sort of parroting the, I was with you when digital marketing took over publications and publishing and did what it did to magazines, what it had done to music already, and what have you. But we're governed by demand now to do more with less. Do you feel broadly positive or broadly negative about the effects and behaviors you're seeing in marketing across the board now? Like, I know that you're not there to say marketing, but are you positive about marketing?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's two things on AI. I mean, first, I should get more credit than anyone else or anyone that pontificates on it, because I've been partly under your editorship back in the day. I was very consistent on the fact that, the metaverse was a big pile of wank, and everyone else certainly lost their marbles there. Those stupid NFTs, you know what I mean? I wrote a column saying they were an idiot magnet, long before anyone thought they were, everyone was building NFTs for their brands. What? So when someone as what's the right word, negative as me, says to you AI is going to change everything, I think I score more points than Gary V on that one. And second, I do think it eventually makes marketing better. I mean, I agree we're going to have less marketers, so it will do better marketing with less, to your theme. It's not quite there yet. I mean, we'll launch an AI product next year as part of mini MBA. There's no point doing a training program in AI. Like, what a lot of wank that is, right? Fucking AI marketing courses. Come on. The whole point is you don't need it, right?
Yeah.
What we will launch is a sidekick tool that basically does your marketing plan and execution for you using synthetic data. So I can train you in positioning, and then the tool will do better positioning than the whole of P&G could do for you in a decade, and the tool is good, and it's not quite done yet, but it's 60% done, and it's going to be amazing. And I think it'll be part of this revolution that isn't here quite yet, but which is coming. Yeah, synthetic data is the key. If you've got unlimited market research, then that opens the door to artificial intelligence brand planning, which opens the door to testing 1,000 different brand plans and picking the most effective one because you've tested them all using the synthetic data. Pricing research is unlimited. Yeah, experimentation on product development is unlimited. And so I do believe that we will lose about 2/3 of marketers eventually, but we'll also produce a lot better marketing eventually as well. But it will be a longer journey than I think everyone's thinking.
I think I'm a bit like you. I went through a period of unemployment in 2024 when consultancy dried up after another B2B marketing director redundancy, which I got quite good at, by the way. And redundancy worked for us a long time.
It can work very well. It's an underrated career development tool and financial tool. If you get, honestly, you do it right, mate.
2 years out of every 3-year marketing plan was my reign for most jobs in the last sort of decade and a half, and which is frustrating in itself because you never get to see it. But we made redundancy work for us, honestly. We got very good at it in this household. However, in 2024, when consultancy dried up for various reasons, and an income was hard to come by, and we hit the place where you have to be innovative and be straight up and be, I'll tell you this, I went for a job as marketing director from one of the top touristy publications in this country. Everybody knows this brand. And it's not a B2B brand, but I was like, listen, if they're coming in for me, and they did come in for me.
But I would still say, if you're going to ride an amazing horse, you still have to be trained as a jockey. We're already getting reports of marketers, junior marketers, turning up and going, here's your segmentation, it's done with AI. And then, whoever's getting the segmentation says, well, what's this? And like, oh, well, I don't know. It's your segmentation. You know what I mean? So you have to know what marketing is, and then you can use the magical AI horse to do the riding. But, I fear the absence of marketing knowledge means that, unfortunately, quite correctly, organizations will say, look, we'll just outsource this to a machine because we haven't made a good case for marketing, starting with the marketers themselves, right?
Yeah. Well, look, I can vouch, and I'm a pure beneficiary of training, and anything I say on do more with less. Some of the different marketers and thinkers and leaders we've had in the last year have given us tactics and skills and quick pointers. This is one of those strategic career development one. This is one not just for your company, but for you. I'll tell you this, about 3 or 4 years ago, I was struggling as one of the leadership team of the company I was working for at the time to influence a marketing and brand implication or contribution to the following year's business-wide KPIs. We had 6 KPIs and I was adding a 7th, and I spoke at 3 or 4 different meetings quite passionately about the opportunity for us if we could gauge our brand awareness and build on it and know how to build on it. And I couldn't get the point made. I did my best, and I thought I did a good job, but nobody was buying it until in a final Slack message to the team, probably like a final plea, I used one of the few things that actually come from your course that I think every marketing professor probably buys into, which is share of voice over share of market. You're going to grow. The other way around, you're going to shrink, right? And I literally turned it into that mathematical formula. And my CEO wrote, why the fuck didn't you say that before? That is so clear. All right. So what happened was we got 15 grand for a piece of research on our market, on our brand. And we got this incredible piece of data in January that said you and all your competitors are on about 15.5% of awareness prompted. So all of you have got an opportunity to steal some share. And here are the things each are best known for, and here are the things you're best known for and associated with, and they're golden for the time we're living in. This is what you should go for. Here, everything else, focus around this, and you'll steal. And it was the first time that B2B company or I had ever managed to get a brand awareness survey done. And you know what happened? I was made redundant before December and getting to do the following piece to see how it's and they never bothered. They never followed up with it. So
no, it's like it's very interesting, right? When I work with clients and we do that research and then we do the execution and then the results come in. I've had this discussion many times. The marketer that stewards the project at the end, they're kind of amazed. And you say to them, did you think this was all fucking rubbish? Why do you think we're here? And they're like, but this worked, and then we made this money, and I'm like, yeah, that's why we're here. Don't you get it? This is why it works. It's not that hard. It works. You make money, do it again, right? I mean, when we launched Mini MBA, there was extra pressure because, at the time, I don't think everyone was fully aware of this, but it was like, okay, well, I'm spending a bit of time doing this course, but if I don't launch it well, I'm a complete fucking fraud because I'm great at talking up what I've done for other companies. Now I've got to create one of my own. If I don't do this well, I can't write another column because I'm a fucking plonker. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I haven't done my own positioning and pricing and targeting right, not perfectly, but relatively well so we can make money, quite correctly, people should never pay any attention to me ever again because I'm a buffoon. Do you know what I mean? So I think, it's great when it works, and I want more marketers to have that cycle where they do the research, they come up with the strategy, they do the execution, they achieve their objectives, they make a fuck ton of money, and then they do it again. That's why we're here. That's the purpose of it all. You know what I mean?
Listen, I've loved this, and I've loved spending a bit of time with you, and I can tell anyone again and again that you're a case study in this. I might be getting this wrong, and you'll correct me if I have, but my understanding is that you don't do consultancy anymore. You don't do the teaching all the top business schools anymore. Like you've given up 2 different careers to focus solely now on the mini MBA. Is that so? You're a case.
Look, frankly, the best way I can make money is focusing on mini MBA. We're a very big business, so yeah, it's a bit of a problem because at the same time, the consulting always fed the teaching. And the half-life is quite long, but I find now when I'm doing examples with the mini MBA gang, I'm talking about mini MBA rather than clients, which, is good and bad. But yeah, in my days of, I still do clients. So we have we do a lot of work with Nestle, for example. So tomorrow I'm going through 4 Nestle brand plans. So I'm still practical, but it's not what it once was, which was, 6 weeks in wherever, building a brand in Tokyo. Do you know what I mean? Like that, they were awful days and they were great days, and that's what fed you teaching. I had this dream of being a not attractive version of Indiana Jones. In the Star Raiders, where he walks in and he's been robbing that gold statue, and then he's teaching undergraduates about archaeology. That was always what I was aiming for at business school. Was come, and it didn't look like that, but it was like that. You'd come back from Tokyo.
Indiana Jones. The reason you're not him is he stayed off LinkedIn, and he doesn't swear on LinkedIn.
I can destroy Harrison Ford on LinkedIn followers. Who is Harrison Ford? Do you know what I mean? The best crap, Matt, was when I did that once. I was teaching at MIT. And I'd gone to France, and MIT is big on failure. That bullshit about, failure is what is how you become a success. Something I totally, totally reject. But it's kind of an MIT thing. You have to fail to win. And so I got indoctrinated into it. And I was in Paris working for Moet Hennessy like the next day. And they were like, we were doing the Innovation Awards. And I said to the big boss, why don't we have a prize for innovation failure, for a really noble failed attempt that was bold and everything else. And he looked at me and he had a Nirvana, he had a cigar and he took his cigar out and he said to me, that's the worst fucking thing anyone's ever said to me ever, and put his cigar back in again. And it was like, right, there's MIT and there's Moet Hennessy, there's Boston and there's Paris. And that's how it works. And it's the opposite of that. It was like, ooh, I've got an idea. And it's like, no. It was fantastic.
So, look, I want to clear up something firstly, not just because you sort of mentioned it before and were wildly out of touch on figures, but also on the sort of training that exists, because we have listeners and viewers of Do More With Less that have let it be known or made clear that they rely on us for genuine support and help. So
yeah,
the courses that are available from some of the industry bodies are probably, and I've never taken them, the CIM and everything else, they're probably okay, they're probably quite good, and I've never taken them because I've got my own. My course is not to be put in a bucket or a choice with there's all marks. Like, I'm not qualified, I'm not a trainer, I'm not a teacher, I'm not a I'm not a professor, certainly, and I haven't done the years and years and years of practice and that Mark relies on to know what he's talking about.
You're selling this well, Mark. You're selling it very well so far.
I'm coming to the big bit.
Turn it around. Turn it around.
Well, 397 quid. It's 6 half-hour modules, right? I'll tell you why. Because I don't teach marketing. I'll teach marketing leadership. So my thing is not about how to be better at CRM, database, email, campaigns, digital, anything. You've got enough of those. I've seen how young startup colleagues rely on YouTube for everything, and it's hard to sort of get them off that drug. But honestly, the thing that I'm teaching, I don't know if I'd be interested to hear your take on this, Mark, is literally how things I've learned in my seniority, how to build better relationships with the CFO, how to build use and value to other functions, how to be open to all forms of Mark, like genuinely it's a course in being a better leader, if you like, being a better business leader, understanding how to talk about revenue and forecast revenue for campaigns before you launch the campaign internally, because that's the only thing anyone else gives a shit about, and all that stuff is so really when I'm advertising my piece on LinkedIn, it isn't the same. We're not talking about the same thing. We're not talking about what Mark's course is doing. Is genuinely teaching you the history, the present, and probably something about your future of marketing in terms of
That's bold. That's bold, Mark. But yeah, I mean, look, our positioning has always been, if you went to MIT or London Business School or Harvard, this is the course you would get, and we can do it better and cheaper. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's everything. It's the whole marketing songbook, from orientation to planning. Do you know what I mean? It's the whole thing. And I think it builds nicely into your stuff and into other places like SIM and the IPA that tend to be more specialist. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I think, what we would both say, right, is we'd encourage marketers to seek out the training they want. But, a formal training is a wonderful thing, as we've said, and it doesn't have to be yours or mine. It can be whatever one you want, right? But development and learning is in the things you don't know about is super important, particularly if you've never had training. You will, as I say, 19.5 out of 20 on my course come out of it and go, that's just made me much better. And 20% of them are C-suite level marketers. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So seek out the training that suits you, because it will make you better, and you will enjoy it too. Training is can be very enjoyable as well.
Mark Ritson, thank you so much for helping us do more with less. I'll see you again.
See you, Choueke. Good to see you, mate. We'll have to get a few in at some point over the summer or something. I'll be back in London for July.
Give me a shout. I'll be here.
All right, mate. Come around your house and drink your beer.